In the latest episode of Moonshiners, Bolt Action, tensions escalate as a rivalry intensifies in the clandestine world of backwoods distilling. The episode, which aired on January 14, 2025, highlighted the escalation in Mark Rogers' feud with his longtime rivals, Mike and Jerry. Their fortunes improve when they acquire a substantial quantity of fruit, enabling them to diversify their offerings with high-demand products such as pear and apple brandy. Meanwhile, Mike and Jerry harbor a grudge against Mark for previous transgressions and devise a plan to locate his secretive still site. Their grievances stem from Mark destroying their still site because they set it up on his territory, and they are out for revenge with a plan. Employing a tracking device placed on Mark's truck during a sugar purchase, Mike and Jerry monitor his movements, hoping to uncover his distillation site. Their surveillance leads them to a secluded location where they suspect Mark and Huck are operating. To confirm their suspicions, they deploy a drone for aerial reconnaissance. However, Mark detects the drone's presence. Uncertain whether it's law enforcement or rival shiners, he opts for caution. He uses a crossbow to disable the drone, demonstrating remarkable precision, but he is unsure whether his operations remain concealed. Recognizing the potential threat, Mark decides to relocate, transporting his liquor to a safer location. Upon discovering their downed drone, Mike and Jerry proceed to the suspected still site. Their apprehension grows upon finding the damaged equipment, leading to a debate about destroying Mark's setup without further surveillance. Their deliberation is cut short when they realize their vehicle has been immobilized, chained to a tree by Mark, who had identified Jerry's truck during his departure. This strategic move by Mark not only thwarts their immediate plans, but also serves as a stark warning against further encroachment. If Mike and Jerry don't get some heavy equipment to free their truck, they will have a long walk back to any nearby town, as the still site is deep in the woods to evade law enforcement. Mark appears to be one step ahead, and viewers will have to wait until the next episode to see how this feud plays out. Moonshiners Season 14, Episode 8. Mark Rogers outsmarts Mike and Jerry. The moonshine world is never short of surprises, and in Episode 8 of Season 14, viewers are in for a whirlwind of wit, rivalry, and strategy. As the moonshine competition intensifies, Mark Rogers, the seasoned distiller from Kentucky, proves that brains are just as important as brawn when it comes to surviving in the cutthroat business. This episode sees Mark outsmarting two of the most formidable players in the game, Mike and Jerry, with a plan that is as devious as it is brilliant. The scene is set. The episode opens with a smoky sunrise over the hills of Kentucky, the backdrop to Mark's secretive operation. As usual, Mark keeps his stills in a discreet location, far from prying eyes. A veteran of the moonshine trade, Mark has built a reputation for his cunning and tactical acumen. While he's not necessarily the flashiest distiller, what he lacks in showmanship, he more than makes up for in intelligence and innovation. Across town, Mike and Jerry are in the middle of their own operation. With a track record of producing high-quality shine and a long-standing rivalry with Mark, they know they can't let him get ahead. However, as always, they underestimate his ability to think several steps ahead of the competition. Mike and Jerry's strategy has always been straightforward: get in, make their shine, and get out as quickly as possible, relying on their tried and true techniques. They've had their fair share of close calls with the law and competing moonshiners, but they always manage to come out on top. But little do they know, Mark is about to give them a run for their money. Mark's master plan. The first part of Mark's plan begins with his discovery of an old piece of equipment, a forgotten copper still that had once been used by his grandfather. This relic of the past holds sentimental value. But Mark realizes it also holds the key to a new kind of shine, something that will take Mike and Jerry by surprise. Mark begins working on modifications to the old still, carefully blending tradition with new age techniques. He's not just making moonshine, he's crafting a game changer. As he tinkers away in his workshop, the camera zooms in on the meticulous care he's putting into his work. If I'm going to outsmart Mike and Jerry, I need to make something that no one else is doing, he mutters to himself. Something that'll throw them off the scent. The next step in Mark's plan is deceptively simple. He's going to lure Mike and Jerry into a false sense of security. He starts by spreading rumors about an easy run, an operation that's perfect for new distillers looking to make a quick profit. What Mark doesn't know is that Mike and Jerry, always eager for an edge, are already hot on the trail. They know about the easy run and are making plans to swoop in and make their mark. The tension builds as both teams prepare for their respective runs. Mark's crew is tight-lipped about the specifics of their operation, but the air of secrecy is palpable. Meanwhile, Mike and Jerry, confident in their success, make their way to the same location, believing they're about to make a quick score. They're ready to outshine the competition with their classic approach. They think Mark's team will be no match for them, underestimating the subtlety of Mark's strategy. As Mike and Jerry arrive on site, they find themselves in familiar territory. They set up their stills and begin the distilling process, knowing full well that they'll soon have the best moonshine in the area. The fire is lit, and the aroma of brewing shine fills the air. Everything seems to be going according to plan, until Mark's crew arrives. The first sign that something is off comes when Mark's team pulls up in a different kind of vehicle. One that's less conspicuous, but more practical for a quick getaway. Mark himself steps out, wearing an unassuming grin. He looks at Mike and Jerry, his eyes gleaming with the knowledge of what's to come. "Oh, we're just here to watch," Mark says nonchalantly, leaning against his truck and casually surveying the scene. Wouldn't want to mess with your setup." Mike and Jerry exchange wary glances. They know better than to trust Mark's calm demeanor. There's always something more to his words, always a layer of strategy beneath the surface. But they figure it's just Mark trying to play mind games. They've dealt with that before. As the two teams begin distilling, the brewing process seems to be moving at the same pace. Yet it's clear that Mark's team is taking extra care with their setup. They're making adjustments that Mike and Jerry don't understand, focusing on details that the two other distillers hadn't even considered. The twist just as Mike and Jerry are about to start bottling their shine, they hear an unfamiliar noise. It's the sound of a helicopter hovering above them, and within moments, they realize that they've been set up for a trap. Mark, it turns out, had planted false rumors with local authorities, leading them to believe that Mike and Jerry were in violation of some obscure regulation. The chopper arrives, casting a shadow over their operation. For a moment, Mike and Jerry panic. Their worst nightmare is coming to life. The law is closing in on them, and they didn't even see it coming. The helicopter hovers ominously over their stills, its searchlight illuminating the entire area. It's clear that this was no accident. Mark had orchestrated the entire thing. Mike scrambles to cover the evidence, while Jerry tries to talk his way out of the situation. But it's too late. As the helicopter moves in closer, the authorities begin to circle the area. What they don't know is that Mark, ever the strategist, has already taken the precaution of moving his operation to a new location, one that's far out of range of the law's reach. While Mike and Jerry are left scrambling, Mark's crew makes a swift exit, unnoticed and undisturbed. They head to their hidden destination, where Mark's innovation is about to pay off. It's time to test the shine that's been brewing under their radar, the new recipe that Mark has perfected. The final plan. Mark and his team arrive at a secluded spot in the woods. It's here that the true magic happens. Mark pulls out his secret weapon, a batch of moonshine made with the modified copper still, which has given the shine an unexpectedly smooth and refined flavor. The shine is unlike anything they've ever tasted, a perfect blend of tradition and modern techniques. Mark's team takes a sip, and there's a moment of silence as they savor the new concoction. "This is it," Mark says, his voice filled with satisfaction. "This will put us ahead of the pack. It's not just about staying under the radar anymore. It's about having the edge." As Mike and Jerry recover from their near miss with the law, they realize that they've been outsmarted. They thought they were the top dogs in the moonshine game, but Mark has just shown them that strategy and innovation can outwit brute force and bravado. The episode ends with Mark and his team celebrating their success. They've not only escaped the law, but also outmaneuvered their toughest competitors. In the world of moonshine, it's not always the toughest or the loudest who win, it's the smartest. And in this episode, Mark Rogers proved just that. The takeaway: Mark Rogers outsmarts Mike and Jerry is a masterclass in strategy, patience, and the power of subtlety. As the rivalry between the Moonshiners continues to escalate, it's clear that Mark is no longer just a competitor, he's a force to be reckoned with. With a combination of intelligence, experience, and a bit of luck, Mark has